Now we have a very special participant. He comes from Slovenia, a beautiful country in the center of Europe. John Peloza, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce him. He is an engineer in computer and informatics, and he is also working for his master's in social marketing. But the most important thing, perhaps, is his advocacy to health in his country and throughout Europe. He was the founder of the halt Policy Youth Network, and he was also the founder of one of the most successful Slovenian non-governmental organizations, which is called the network Excuse Slovenia. He has also been a co-founder of the Sustainaware network, and he is involved with the World Economic Forum as a curator in Ljubljana. But the most important thing is that he represents a brave generation that has overcome a past of war and conflict to give themselves to the betterment of their communities and each of the European regions where they work. And it is very important the kind of generosity of heart that they have put into all these causes that they fight for. It is with great pride that I introduce today James Peloza.
Thank you very much. It is a great pleasure to be in front of such an amazing crowd. My name is Jan Peloza. I come from Slovenia, a country with roughly 2 million inhabitants. We are part of practically every international alliance, including the European Union, Council of Europe, and NATO. And we just turned 25 years old. We were the first country to declare independence from former Yugoslavia in the 90s. And unlike our brothers from Southeastern Europe, our independence war lasted only 13 days. So you might think we are a happy country. Unfortunately, this is not the case. Worse, we have been known for years as a nation of suiciders. How this could be? Let's start with a contradiction. Over 90% of 11, 13, and 15 years olds in Slovenia consider their life to be good or excellent, according to one study. But at the same time, more than a quarter of these same people are regularly facing psychosomatic symptoms like insomnia, irritability, and nervousness. 1 out of 5 young people in the last year felt depressed, and 15.5% of the same group of people were thinking of suicide. So, why is this at all possible when there was such a happiness? I believe it's a mix of different things. For example, like self-confidence, certain life skills, and the environment the young people are currently in. And the public health institutions around Slovenia think the same as me. When talking to older friends who are also born like me in former Yugoslavia, a former socialistic country, they mentioned that we had everything we wanted, but we didn't want the things we couldn't get. Nowadays it's totally different. We aim really high, we get advertised products we don't really need, we are presented as ugly and unwanted until we buy a certain formula that will make us look and feel special. Don't get me wrong, I'm not promoting a system I was born in, but I would like to also point out that the system we currently work in is equally broken. And what is the main problem here is that it's especially unfair to the ones most in need. And there are many young people in this group. Many young people in Slovenia are left behind, with one or both parents unemployed, or at least one parent addicted to alcohol. They grew up in a world with constant domestic conflict, physical or mental abuse. These young people are the most vulnerable to mental health issues such as depression or suicide later in life. And if not taken seriously, this is a ticking bomb of our society. So, 10 years ago, myself and 2 colleagues, we established a youth organization called Excuse Slovenia. It has become one of the leading youth organizations in the region, helping young people develop their potential, and they're becoming self-confident. To date, we have reached over 180,000 young people in Slovenia and trained over 400 multipliers, agents of change. We call them activists. So our programs encourage young people to look outside of their window and challenge the world out there. So in order to do that, they need certain knowledge, skills to allow them to develop their attitudes towards society, their peers, and especially to themselves. So assertiveness, understanding of peer affiliation and peer pressure, public speaking, media literacy, and planning personal professional goals are very important for young people, mental health and well-being. These are exactly the skills young people need. Most of these young people, including myself at the beginning, will not understand this until later in life. We use positive spirit, a sense of mutual appreciation, and humor to help young people deal also with darker topics like depression, self-harm, and suicide. But most of all, we help them go through one of the most turbulent times of their life, the adolescence. Youth work is known around Europe as being great for helping young people getting better employable and by becoming active citizens. But what's less known is that these young people can grow and develop personally, allowing their opinions to be considered and boosting their self-confidence. Recently, almost 1,700 young people in Slovenia acknowledged that being a part of a youth organizations helped them in their perceived well-being. In Europe, many young people mention that their being a part of a youth organization helped them overcome certain mental health conditions, and if not because of youth organizations, their mental health condition will have worsened. So depression is unfortunately rising around the world, but one thing is clear. Young people feel much better if they are listened to, their ideas are considered, they're in a good company, and perhaps even spend time in nature. Genuine youth work does exactly this. I'm there calling on investors, and I know there are many in this room. If you have to spend $1 or €1 in young people mental health invested in youth work, it really changes lives. It changed mine.